Ed is pastor of Fellowship Church, a fabulous church. He's married to his high school sweetheart, Lisa. They have 4 children, and I've given them the privilege to have those 4 grandchildren. And now I have 4 great-grandchildren, and it's all come through Ed's lineage. So I give him credit for all of that in my life. Fellowship Church is most unusual. He has 9 churches. There are 2 in Florida, there's 1 in Oklahoma, and there's 4 in Dallas, and 4 in prisons. He has 4 churches he uses and functions in prisons, which I think is genuinely a fabulous ministry. On top of that, he has a C3 organization, and he has a C3 conference every year in Dallas, in the home church there, and they have literally 4,000 or 5,000 pastors who come from all over the world, and they learn how to do church. The Bible never changes, ladies and gentlemen. It is inerrant, it is there, but how we do church in the 21st century is always a changing thing, particularly in cities. So Ed, throughout the year, works with those pastors, seeking to help them build the body of Christ. So I am thrilled and proud, really, to have my son Ed here to speak to us today. And I know you're proud to have some good preaching once in a while.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Love you, Dad. Thank you. Thank you. How's everyone doing today? You doing well? Good. You know, through the miracle of technology, this is seen at all of our environments and also all of your environments. So let's do a big, ovation for everybody joining in. I love to drive through neighborhoods. I do. And sometimes when I'm driving through neighborhoods, I really admire, I'm sure as you do, the different houses. Some are modern, some are more traditional, some are big, some are small. I look at these houses, and usually when I'm looking at these houses, I have a conversation with myself. Did you ever do that? Talk to yourself kind of? I go, man, these are nice houses, but I wonder how many houses are homes. How many houses are homes? I thought today, since we're talking so much about family during this holiday season, that I would talk about the family and that I would talk about how to turn houses into homes. If I had to focus or to present to you God's business, it would be turning houses into homes. That's the business of God. We can't turn houses into homes, though, until, first of all, God has done business in our lives. Then and only then can we do business in the family. Yet, I would submit to you that the family is really where it's at. And this applies to every single person because all of us are a member of a family. We all are. Have you ever come up before with a business plan? Has anyone ever come up with a business plan before? Like, anybody? Oh yeah, I see those hands going up everywhere. I was wondering recently what a business plan was. So I, of course, Googled it. And here's the definition. It's a document, a business plan, setting out a business's future objectives and strategies for achieving them. So it's about a business's future objectives and how they're going to achieve those objectives. And then I went a step further. I noticed you could go to this website, download a PDF business plan, insert your name, the company structure, what you're going to call the company, and like that, you have your own business plan. And you can present that business plan to investors, and they'll go, wow. Woo, unbelievable. A business plan. This book is a business plan. It tells you and me with strategies and objectives how to turn houses into homes. Because it doesn't take someone really brilliant or bright to realize the family is struggling right now. What is it? Half of all marriages, in fact, more than half of all marriages end up in the deep weeds. 40% of all kids in America are growing up in a single-parent household. And then on top of that, we're playing house, we're living together, and we're just not doing the marriage thing. You know, it's free sex with no commitment. So the marriage and the family, parenting, and the kids, we're really struggling. Yet God, and this is the genius of God, formed the family to be the catalyst of change for our culture. There's no doubt about it. The family is a unit created by God to glorify God. That's what a family is. Say that with me. A family is a unit created by God to glorify God. We're created by God. As you look, it's how God has pushed the ball downfield through this unit, the family. The family's objective here in this business plan is to glorify God. Now, when I say that, that's my reason for existence, and that's your reason for existence, to glorify God. That's kind of hard to grasp. The glory of God. What does that mean? The glory of God. The glory of God is intrinsic to who God is. In other words, it's just Him. He doesn't need some sort of an outside source, or he doesn't need clicks or follows or likes to get more glory. He is glory. Are you feeling me? If you're feeling me, just give me one clap. All right. So what heat is to jalapenos, what the Kardashians are to social media, God is to glory. Man, you guys are good. So the family, at every exchange and interchange, at every adventure, we're to reflect the glory of God, the sum total of His attributes. So when people see your family and mine, they should see the glory of God. I wish it was that easy, don't you? I mean, it's easy for me to say this up here, but it's a whole nother level to work it out in the real world. Because families, we have to do some hard yards to do and to be who God desires. But I'm telling you, God will give us the horsepower to be the kind of family that He desires. Because if we could see the future, talking about the business plan that God has for you and me, we would fall flat on our face. If we could see the business plan that God has for our family, we'd be like, you've got to be kidding me. It's that amazing. So how do you turn houses into homes? You have to realize that this is a business plan. And all you have to do is download this business plan, fill in your name and your family, and simply do what it says. Because God says, you do this, and I'll do that. If you don't do that, I'll do this. It's that simple. So the structure of the family is brilliantly simple and simply brilliant when you think about it. The structure of the family. Last Sunday, we had an opportunity to do a parent-child dedication. And I have a photo of our family somewhere on one of these beautiful screens. You see it? Now, keep that up there for a second. I mean, it's kind of emotional, but you know, the family going from right to left, a number of people who've been very, very meaningful and influential in our family were there. And here I am. I can't even believe this. Sometimes I can't even believe I'm a parent. I know you're like, Ed, what are you smoking? I mean, I can't. And a grandparent? I'm only 30 years old. But I looked at this picture, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait a minute. I remember when we dedicated the Twin Towers, and now they're dedicating their kids. Get out of town. I sometimes will say, slap somebody appropriately, but we can't because of COVID. Isn't that interesting? And then as I thought about it and meditated on it over the last several days, I thought, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the family. I'm so thankful for my family. I grew up in a great family. And I feel so privileged and grateful to do that. But our family's not perfect. I mean, Dad's almost perfect, but he's not. He's not. Nor am I. Nor is anyone. Yet, if we do family like this business plan tells us, we're going not to a whole nother level, a holy nother level. Do that with me. A what? Holy nother level. Because the family is a place that reflects the family of God. We're simply a microcosm of the family of God. What's the family of God? It's Jesus, of course, the bridegroom. The church is the bride. Those of us who've been adopted into this family. Once you become a Christ follower, you're adopted into the family of God. And it's sort of ironic. We're adopted into the family of God, yet we have billions of blood relatives, those who've been covered by the blood of Jesus. Isn't that interesting? So I look at that, thank you. I look at that, one guy got that. I look at that, and I see the family, and my family and yours should be a reflector of the family of God. That's my template. That's who I'm about and what I'm about. So, how's business? I mean, what's your ROI, your return on investment? And God gives us these ROIs, just like this Sunday with that picture I showed you. That was a ROI moment for me. Because, again, not perfectly, but God has done amazing things through our family because we serve an amazing God. So I'm laying it out there for you to get involved in this process. First of all, you have to allow God to do business in your life. You have to accept his business plan. Then you follow the business plan set forth for the family in the business plan, the Bible. I talked about structure. And a business plan, a good business plan is going to talk about structure. What is the structure of the family? You ever thought about that? You're going, oh yes, Ed, my wife and I were discussing that over coffee this morning. Good. God is the owner / founder of the family. Number 2 in this flow chart, the husband, are you ready, guys? We're the CEO. Let's all give a man clap. Yeah. Some of you are looking at your wives going, I told you. Number 3, the wife. Ladies, you're the president. And kids, you're the employees and the shareholders. I like the word kids because I've even written a book on this. KIDS, Keeping Intimacy at a Distance Successfully. Kids. Now we love our kids. We would give our lives for our kids. Yet as we look at the flow chart, number one is God. Number two, it's the marriage. And it takes work. I call it the MWE, the marital work ethic. It takes work to keep your marriage at the center of the relationship, because what happens is you get married, everything is beautiful, everything's romantic, and after a while, you crank out a couple of kids, and then an unusual thing happens in this business, or as we say in Texas, business. An unusual thing happens in this family business. The man resigns from his number one position, that of being a husband. And he's a father, which is great, but he turns from that and chases a career. I've got to make that money. I want to leave my kids better off than how I grew up. And I'm going to burn it and churn it, and you sort of drift because you've resigned. The woman resigns in this dual resignation from her number one position, that of being a wife. And she becomes a mom. Of course, there's no one like moms. Guys, they're much smarter, wiser. They're really better than we are, but that's a whole nother message. You could tell those were female claps. That's right. So, it's true. So you chase the kids, maybe a career. So you see the marital drift? I mean, the enemy is after the family. Wives, moms, you're here. You're living your lives sort of around the kids, maybe a career or two. Husbands, you're over here. So here's what you do. You go, well, I guess, and this sounds so sexy, the family is about the kids. Our culture says that. It's the kids. Kids first. It's the kids. No, it's not. It's not the kids. It's not. It's the marriage. Number one thing, the marriage. Now, I'm not saying, again, because when it comes to the family, we're equal in form, unique in function. Okay? But it's not about the kids. And what can happen is we can, instead of glorifying God, we begin to glorify ourselves, and glorify our kids. And we begin to orbit ourselves around the lives of our kids, and we give our kids the corner office, and they are running the show. Because little toddlers, at surprisingly young ages, they sit down and they case the joint. And they say to themselves, you know what? I can take out mom and dad. I am going to do a hostile takeover. And they take over the family corporation. And they love the warm spotlight. They love the corner office and the parties and the perks. And then throw in an attractive coworker or someone else, and let's get ready to rumble. Call in the lawyers to pick up the pieces, and they take all the money. And then you go, what happened? And then you get married to maybe a newer model or a wealthier model, and you repeat the same sad cycle over and over and over. Well, Ed, where's this happening? Everywhere. I just described to you what's happening in our culture. We've totally taken God out of the picture, and now we just do what we feel like doing. Feelings. Whoa, feelings. You see, if I feel it, it's real. No? Because if I did right now what I felt like doing, I'd be bass fishing in one of these beautiful lakes here, because I love to fish. Feelings? Yes, we have feelings, Feelings come and go, but it's about, I'm talking about the family, commitment. Commitment is saying, I pledge myself to this position no matter what the cost. With commitment, the feelings follow. You don't feel your way into a commitment, you commit, and then you have feelings. But feelings are like, sort of like the ocean. You have high tide, low tide, and slack tide. In marriages, in families, and in child-rearing challenges. So God's number one, the husband, okay, CEO, the wife is the president, and the kids are the employees and shareholders. Do your kids ever talk back to you sometimes? Yeah. I've dealt with that before. People sometimes ask me, how do you deal with rebellious kids? Let's say your kid says, I don't want to go to church. None of my friends are there. Well, you say, sorry, we're going to church. There's no option here. I don't give a flying flip. If you don't know a soul, we are going to church. As Joshua said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As long as you're living under our roof and we're paying for it, we're going to. Here's the church, there's the steeple. Open the doors and see all of the amazing people. So there's no discussion. Now, once they get out of the house, cool, they can do whatever they want to. And here's what sometimes modern parents say. Cool parents, woke parents will say, I'm not going to just really push Jesus on my family. I'm just going to let my kids, figure it out for themselves. I'm just going to let them, find out, That's what we're going to do. We're going to roll with it. Hey, I might get another tattoo here too. So, see, that was woke. Little joke there. Another piercing. And that's fine if you have that. I'm just, kidding around. Skinny jeans. Skinny jeans. Very, 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 very few people can wear skinny jeans. Only super skinny people can wear skinny jeans. I don't know why I said that, but I did. Sometimes when your kids talk back to you, just become a hip-hop artist, parents. I'll give you a permission slip to become a hip-hop artist. Just rap to your kids. They talk back to you, just say, whoa, 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 I'm the parent, I'm legit. There's no use arguing, you might as well quit. You can roll your eyes and say it's not fair. You're telling God you really don't care. So do what I say all the time. Then your life will have serious rhyme all the time. Peace of mind. Sometimes you have to do that. The family. It's a business plan. The family. We do God's business if God has done business in our lives. The family. We understand the structure and the flow chart. The Bible comes along, and Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 says, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. This word submit means to position yourself under. Obviously, God has given us in the family different roles. I just talked about that. The family, though, should be a submission contest. So what I'm saying is we need to get under those things God has put over us, so we get over those things God has put beneath us. Did you get that? Let me say it again. I'll say it slower. We need to get under those things God has put over us so we can get over those things God has put beneath us. But many people never know what should be beneath us because we never get under those things that should be over us. Submit, kids, to your parents. Parents, as we serve our kids and as they serve us, we need to submit one to another. Husbands, submit to your wives. Wives, submit to your husbands. I'm telling you again, you see the genius of God. God has given the role, the responsibility of CEO to the man, president, to the wife, employees, shareholders, to the kids. What is parenting anyway in this family business? It's teaching and training your kids to leave. Spouses stay, kids leave. Now, Ed, where did you get that? Proverbs 22 is one text I used. Deuteronomy chapter 6 is another one. And then, of course, Genesis 2:24, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Spouses stay, kids leave. But parents are always parents. So, how does this play out, this business plan? Let me give you a couple of things. I want to talk to you about a home. How do you turn houses into a home? And you can write these down. I'm going to use an acrostic. What's a home? A home is a holy objective that motivates everyone. That's a home. It's a holy objective that motivates everyone. God wants us to live on a holy level. Holiness means the family is set apart. God's running the show. So we're different than people around our neighborhood. We're different than people at the club. We're different than people at school. We're different. Some people might say, man, you're kind of weird. Some people say, oh, man, you might be strange. Some people are like, whoa, I don't know. But they're watching you. And they see something different. And they see Jesus in your family. They see him. So it's holy. Also, think about the objective. We've talked about the objectives of the family, what we're to do, what we're to be. We're to do his business. We're to keep the marriage as the main thing. We're to have those date night, mate nights at least twice a month. I'm talking about date your spouse. I didn't start doing this until the twins were like 8 weeks old. Our pediatrician looked at me and she goes, hey, Ed, have you taken Lisa on a date? I go, yeah, I did that to get her. She goes, no, I mean now. You need to date Lisa. It was a sea change moment for me. It was like, whoa. So I began to date Lisa. I thought dating, went out before, you walk down the wedding runner. I thought, you stop dating, then you get married. And then you sit on the couch and watch ESPN. Honey, would you bring some more of those Doritos and some nacho cheese sauce? No. Because what you use to get her is what you use to keep her. And ladies, what you use to get him is what you use to keep him. Make sure to have those date nights. Well, what if the kids are crying and they don't like, us to leave? Well, I would rather them cry a little bit now than really cry when your family is blown up. So it's worth it. And I'm not talking about breaking the budget or breaking the bank. I'm talking about spending time one-on-one, at least twice a month, with your spouse. I'm not talking about double dating. That went out with the junior senior prom. I'm talking about romance. And Dad wrote a great book about it, Romancing the Home. The home should be a place of romance. It should be a place of affection. It should be a place of creativity. The home. So it's a holy objective that maximizes, it shouldn't limit us. When God gives us directives, they're never, ever limiting. It's never like, oh, God rained on my parade. Oh, it's just another doggy downer. Wow, man, I wish I had fun like all those people I see on Instagram, Come on. God has set his parameters up for our lives to flourish, not to flounder. So I'm telling you, I've been around long enough, this stuff works. And God says, as I said earlier, if you do this, I'll do that. And if you don't do that, I'll do this. The family. The family. It's a holy objective that motivates everyone. Everyone who comes in contact with it should go, man, something's different. And this family, as it's a glorifying group, becomes influential. It becomes strong. It becomes powerful. It becomes generational. And you see the baton passed, and the next family takes it to a holy another level. And the next family takes it to a holy another level. And the next family takes it to a holy another level. A home. A holy objective that motivates everyone. This book, as I said, is a business plan for the family. But moreover, this book is a business plan for your life individually. And I've got to ask you straight up, have you filled your name out? Have you downloaded this business plan? Because here's what happened. We were created in God's image. Everything was perfect. Yet man chose to rebel against God. And there was this cosmic chasm caused by sin. And you could feel it throughout the Old Testament because God could have nuked us right there. He didn't. You could feel it through the Old Testament. God is just foreshadowing, I'm going to throw down a business plan that is going to change the world forever and ever. And at the fullness of time, He sent Jesus to live a sinless life, to die a sacrificial death, to rise again, offering you and me forgiveness, grace, love, eternity. It's God's business plan. And we simply either fill it out, sign on the dotted line, or not. God has made us with an ability to choose. Have you inserted your name in God's business plan? I was having lunch with a guy at a Mexican restaurant. I love Mexican food, and we began to talk about different things. I could tell he was not a follower of Christ, and I began to share with him that God has a business plan, and he was a sports agent. He dealt with a lot of contracts and things, and I thought, let me just draw up a contract for you. And I wrote on a little card a contract, God's contract. And then I wrote on there, sign, put an X and a dotted line. And I gave him my pen. I said, I'm giving you a chance to sign, to give your life to Jesus. Because I said, once you sign, a cosmic transaction takes place. Your sin for the Savior, your guilt for God's grace, your shortcomings for Jesus Christ. And I watched him roll that pen between his index finger and thumb. And I was praying that he would sign. And he did. He signed. And I watched God do business in his life. So before we can get into all the stuff I've talked about with the family, and believe me, it's critical, we have to start with God doing business in our lives. I want to give you a chance to do that right now. Would you bow your heads with me for a moment? Every head is bowed and every eye is closed. God, I know there are many people here, and many people are watching. Many people are at church physically. Some are watching, and they're involved online. But if you've never signed on the dotted line, Dad's going to tell you how to do it. He's going to lead you in an opportunity to sign up. Maybe others of you, you've prayed that prayer before, and you're like, okay, I've done that, but God really convicted you about some major decisions that you need to make in God's business plan. So, Father, you teach us, you show us your way, your truth. We ask all these things in Jesus' name.